Hello and welcome to another video. This is Out Nerdy. I'm Paul and let's talk about Hawkeye. 2 episodes dropped on Disney Plus this morning. It's no secret I've not had much hope for the show. The trailers didn't exactly help, as they showed us it was now the usual Marvel tropes of super strong women, bloke being it in the bollocks, and the continual degrading of the original Avengers, yada yada yada. Now, it opens up with the Battle of New York, which is actually pretty good. I enjoyed that. And we see Kate Bishop and her family, they're going through some turmoil when the Chitauri and Loki start attacking New York. We see some footage of Hawkeye doing his thing. We then get Hawkeye, bullshit is she, doing some bet or a challenge in present day, which goes wrong. Now I guess it's supposed to be funny, but it's not for me. It's not terrible, but it's not great. What is terrible, and I mean cringe as fuck, is the Rogers musical. It's fucking awful. And while I get it, it's a musical of the Avengers, it's like it's taking the piss really out of the original gang. Oh, that's how I saw it. I thought it was fucking awful. I covered my eyes like it was a fucking like I was fucking 8 watching an horror film. My wife walked in the room, said what the fuck, and left. So it weren't fucking good. It weren't good at all. That scene was just there to shit on the Avengers, basically. I don't care what they say. After that, there's a nice dinner scene with Clint and his kids. A lot of the scenes that are particularly good involve Clint being the family man. Playing dad and just him being him, and it works really well. It's present day again. Kate meets up with mum, blah blah blah. She tells her to wear a red dress for a do they've got to go to, so promptly she puts on a suit, cause strong women, I guess. I mean, she doesn't like her future stepdaddy, who is obviously shady as fuck. So they go down into a cellar and she follows, and what a surprise, shady auction going on. Said auction gets robbed by criminals looking for what says an Avengers watch. The Ronin suit is there for some reason, I'm not sure why, but she dons the suit and off she goes to fight the baddies. Now she promptly fends them off, but it doesn't all go her own way. So at least she isn't the bestest ever just yet, but she does win. She escapes them, but they catch up to her. She's easily overwhelmed, and to the writer's credit, she's losing, and she's losing very easily. She's completely out of her depth, and it's nice that we actually got to see that. Because in other shows, no doubt, she'd be kicking the shit out of them already, right away. So at least the writers have given us a little bit of, she's new. So in the end, the real Hawkeye comes in and saves her. So was episode 1 any good? In parts, yes. But you just know, like any other Marvel product, it's going to turn on you. The messaging is there. She's told to wear a dress, but no, she wears an ill-fitting, god-awful looking power suit instead. The only thing that was missing was shaving side of her head. To make it that full SJW look. Future stepdad is obviously bad, to some degree at least, and of course he's white, obviously. I know this episode was just to set everything up, but I suspect the show will be one of wasted potential. I'm just going to say it now. It's good in parts, mainly Clint, to be honest. At the moment anyway. So on to episode 2. It opens as the last scene ended. Hawkeye has just rescued Kate. She mouths off a little bit. Clint has some very good comebacks to her bullshit posting. The Tracksuit Mafia gang, I shit you not, that's the gang's real name. They track Bishop to her flat and they throw petrol bombs through it into the place. Place goes up in fire. Hawkeye manages to catch a couple, throw them back, and she uses a bow to destroy one of them. She's super eager to team up with Hawkeye, obviously. Proper fangirling. They go to a safe house. Well, granted, it's her auntie's apartment, but who cares? He goes back for his suit, but it's gone. Later on in the scene, she then goes on to lecture him about himself. Kate obviously knows more about Hawkeye than he does. Has a go at him because of his branding. Now he stays in the background too much, and while it might have been cool at one point, now it isn't. Hawkeye has to go off to a LARPing event to get his suit because one of the firefighters took the Ronin suit. So he has to fight him. Don't get me wrong, it's both fun seeing Clint have to deal with petty stuff like this, but it feels a little bit insulting at the same time. Hawkeye, like I said, must fight this guy to get his suit back. It feels more like it's just there to belittle his character. Hawkeye can be quite fun and he has lots of quips and comebacks, but this didn't feel like this. It just felt like it was there to belittle him. I mean, after all, going off what we've seen of this episode, this is just a character who just wants Christmas with his family, and that's a nice story. Throughout the first 2 episodes as well, we've also got him how he's dealing with Natasha's death, but it's done very subtly and very nicely. It's a nice little, carry on to say, the world not everything just went back to normal. We move forward. Kate has a dinner and sparring duel with future stepdad to see who's best, and it's also to prove that he's lying. She then goes off to find Hawkeye, who has let himself be captured by the Tracksuit Mafia, and it does mention it's one of Nat's old moves. It's very reminiscent of the beginning of the Avengers, where she's tied up by the Russians. Unknown to Kate, obviously, she goes to rescue him, but just falls through a skylight, and they both get captured, but like more properly properly if you want. We get to see at the end another female bad guy, which pounds a pinch of salt. Clint will either get his ass kicked by off her, or he won't be allowed to fight her because that's just how it works now in Marvel. Couple of points. Straight off the bat, the fucking Russian mob. Isn't it a cliche now? Don't get me wrong, they sounded laughable. And they kept making jokes. Once again, it's typical Marvel, where it don't let a scene breathe. We've got Clint tied up. They're pointing guns and it could be a very tense moment. Now obviously we know that Clint will be able to easily get out of it. But then they just start fucking cracking shitty jokes to each other. Oh, the warehouses are hard to come by because, apartments are being turned. The warehouses are being turned into apartments or some nonsense. It didn't need it. You know what I mean? It was just shit. Episode 2 had very little action in it. It was more story driven. But all that story really was Clint getting the suit back. It feels like more could have been done in its 45-minute run. What to say about it? We're only 2 episodes in, but I think it's only supposed to be 6 episodes. So you've used up a good chunk of your time now. I have enjoyed Clint. I mean, I liked the Hawkeye character, and like I said, he's very quippy, he has his comebacks and his one-liners, and he does them very well, especially when she's getting a bit uppity. You know, she says, some say I'm the world's greatest archer, and he goes, would one of them be you? And it's really good. Do you know what I mean? There's another comment along the lines of, I've been doing martial arts since I was age 5. And because she's so young, he turns around and goes, oh, what? So like last year then? And they were enjoyable moments, and I want to see more of that. I want to see Hawkeye. I don't really care about Kate Bishop at this moment in time. Give me Hawkeye. That's what I've been shown in the Marvel Universe. I hope we get more Hawkeye backstory as these episodes progress. You know, I don't think he got a great deal to do in the Avengers, really. Or not that it was shown. Now, in some interviews over the past couple of days, it's had Jeremy Renner where he said, you know, he's just had a kid and he wants to spend time with his new daughter and his family. And he said, you know, recast me if you have to. So maybe that's one of the reasons why we haven't had more of an in-depth look at Hawkeye. But it feels like, you know, now maybe he dies at the end, maybe he doesn't. Hopefully he doesn't, because I suspect at some point they are going to need the original gang to come back, even Hawkeye. So, you know, it would be nice to get more story of him before we get anybody else. Maybe we'll get that, maybe we won't. It's Marvel, so chances are we're probably not going to get it. Anyway, it's a show with it's a potentially good show with potential, but wasted in needless jokes, irrelevant humour, and just the usual taking the piss out of the original Avengers. That musical scene will possibly turn a lot of people off, I think. It's done for comedy and it's not funny. It's not funny, it's cringy. Anyway, that's it for these two. I'll be back with next week with more episodes as the series goes on. Please like, share and subscribe. You'll find me on social media. And I will see you all again. Bye for now.